broadcasting live from the Roanoke Valley of southwestern Virginia. Join us and see what life looks like from a medium's perspective with Reverend Tracey Lockwood, the medium's medium. We'll explore the tools of psychic development, hear stories and experiences from the other side, and learn to listen to our natural intuition. Now, our host, Reverend Tracey Lockwood.
Hello, beautiful lights, and welcome to another episode of From a Medium's Perspective. I wanted to say before we get going that if you're interested in developing your spiritual gifts, I teach several 4-week programs a couple of times a year: psychic development, advanced mediumship, channeling, and spirit art. And if you're interested in a comprehensive program of training that leads to certification at the level that your performance is, intuitive arts specialist, professional psychic level, or professional psychic mediumship level, I offer a 12-week program that's appropriate for beginners to advanced students. Wherever you are on developing your gifts, this would be a very helpful program. It's very intensive and comprehensive. And if you want more information about that, you can find it at mediumtracylockwood.com. Our guest today is a teacher of higher awareness. She's one of the master teachers of the Perceptive Awareness Technique, PAT Inc. She is a Soma Pi healing teacher, and she's a graduate of Integrated Awareness and a certified healing hypnosis practitioner. She has practiced and mastered Reiki and been doing that for over 25 years. And she helps her students connect through seminars and workshops. And I'd like to introduce to you Susan Zummo. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you, Tracey. It's good to be here.
I'm happy to have you. I wanted to tell our listeners sometimes they like to snoop about and check out our guests while we are on the air, and they can find information about you at SusanZummo.com. That's Susan with an S, S-U-S-A-N. And Zummo has 2 M's in it, Z-U-M-M-O, SusanZummo.com. Well, Susan, what is going on with the world today? You know, there is a tremendous amount of extreme that we're seeing, both the extremes between people becoming more enlightened and opening their spiritual gifts and sharing love and processing and healing, and tremendous atrocities at the other end. And we're seeing a lot of chaos, as everyone knows, with the weather. And so I just wondered what you had to say about that. What do you think, as somebody who works with healing with people and larger scales there?
Well, I think that's a great question, and especially at this time that we're in right now. We see that there are tremendous extremes, tremendous polarities taking place right now, as you just described. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that our planet is moving further and further into the age of Aquarius, into the 4th dimension, closer towards the solar shift. There are a lot of different ways to say it. But we are reaching a nexus point where we're going to have a paradigm shift. And in order to have that, everyone has to choose which way they want to go. Do they want to go to one side, or do they want to go to the other?
Will you choose the dark side or to stay in the light? Yes.
That's absolutely correct. If you look at the things that are going on, not only in the world, but just in your own life, and the people around you, you can see very clearly that people are moving into service to self or service to others. And so as we move further into the fourth dimension, the Oort cloud, however you want to say it, what's happening is the layers between dimensions, or the veil, some people call it, are thinning. And we are able to peer into other dimensions much easier. And other dimensions are connecting with us much more. I have people coming to me, clients and students, who are having spirit communication who don't even believe in it.
Right.
Or they're, right?
Yeah, and tell them again, for people that are not familiar, the what kind of cloud?
Oort, O-O-R-T.
Okay,
The Oort cloud.
Yeah, that's new to me too. So I know the veil's thinning, and I can feel it, and I see it also in clients and students as well. But I don't know what an Oort cloud is. Tell us a little bit about that too.
So the Oort cloud is a band that we started to move into on December 21st of 2012. And it is I guess you could call it a photon belt, but our galaxy is moving into it. And it is a cloud that is filled with tremendous amounts of energy, radiation, and this is the energy that the Earth is using to ascend, to shift into a higher level.
Oh, so it's not just, that's interesting, because you were saying that it's sort of the move is that the shift that's happening is people are sort of becoming binary. They're going either to the dark or the light. And I would think that has to do, if there's light and photons in this, then there would be that choice of like attracts like, or opposites, polarize too. Interesting.
That's it. You got it. That's exactly it. So I wanted to talk about the negative things that we're seeing, because they have a tendency to help us or challenge us to stay positive, right? It's very easy to become discouraged or depressed when we look at all of the terrible things that are going on. But I wanted to put it in a bigger perspective, because right now, what's happening is our timeline, our current timeline, is running out. We're coming to the end of a paradigm. And that means that those of us who are in the dark, or who feed on fear and negativity, don't have a lot of time left. And so they are very busy because they know that they're running out of time.
Kind of upping their game.
More extreme.
Wow.
Yes, that's exactly right. They're upping their game. So we who stay in the light and focus on the light have to remember, when we see and hear these things, that these are the death throes of those types of beings, those types of energies.
Sort of the darkest before the dawn type energy.
Yes, absolutely. We have to reach the point of no return before we flip over into the next shift. And so that means that you're going to see a lot of terrible things. Now, I don't really want to start the show talking about this, but it's important for us to lay that foundation, because I don't want anyone to get the idea that we're going to be talking about Pollyanna things, or that we don't acknowledge that things are not going well in the world.
Oh,
but that's not where we want to focus, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Energy follows focus. Absolutely. Yep. You want to, yep.
That's it. So it's really meant to be a statement of hope, because we understand that as we continue to move forward and the Earth moves deeper into this cloud, into the Oort cloud, or into its ascension process, it will change. And we will move into a new paradigm. And the question for us is, which way do we choose to go?
Yeah. I hear that consistently from both people that are working with sort of planetary shift stuff. And also, I had a geopolitical astrologer on the show too, that Linda Sherman, that was, thank God, you're sort of white knuckle, like holding on and thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then to know that we are shifting toward a more beautiful time, I think that's really tremendous. You mentioned something in your notes that we shared prior to the shore, and you said something about Archons. What are Archons?
So Archons, they're an old term. They are negative beings. I used to call them negative thought forms, but they are negative beings. I guess you could call them alien if you want. They feed on the fear and negativity of emotion. So every time we get sucked into a state of fear or a state of panic or a negative emotion, it's like dinner. It's a dinner bell for them, and they feed off of that. And if you are a negative-leaning person, or if you are a person who does a lot of complaining and hangs out in that kind of energy or does a lot of gossip, those beings will draw to you circumstances and people that will ramp up those emotions so that they can feed. And so we're seeing a lot of the things that are being stimulated in the world today are about Archons. And they're about Archons attached to people because that's their meal ticket. Mm-hmm. So
I call them lazy because they're just too darn lazy to go through the right process of reincarnating and getting their own body.
Yes. That's a good way to put it. That really is.
Slackers.
That's it. Why cook a meal when you can have someone make it for you and feed it to you?
Right. You do it. I'm going to sit here. You do it.
That's exactly right. But I never want people to feel helpless.
No.
So the thing to know about Archons, and something that we'll probably talk about a lot together today, is the way that you eliminate them is simply to disengage from negative behavior and love.
Yes, because the vibrations, like you were talking about, the attraction that they feel is to a frequency that we emit with negative thinking. And so if we're emitting a totally different frequency of love and light and happiness and peace and all that, there's no way that for them to attach because they don't have purchase. They can't find a similar vibration.
That's right.
To feed into.
That's it spoils the milk. As soon as you stop gossiping about that person and move into a place of compassion and love, you have spoiled milk. Dinner doesn't taste good anymore, and they will abandon you.
Yeah. It's sort of like people don't have a taste for vegetables sometimes, even though they're really good for us, and it takes, you have to want to feed your body healthy stuff. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a great example, too, of gossip because, even those of us that wear the crown of spiritualism, or whatever, and are doing our best to create love and light in our lives, we still fall prey to critical thinking and good reminder to look deeper and to have compassion. That's beautiful. Absolutely. So,
well, we are human.
We are definitely. So, this thinning of the dimension, we as mediums and, people working with energy feel it and acknowledge it in our students and in our abilities and in our clients. But what do you think that means for people on the other side? And sort of give me a feeling about what that does for us and our communication. with those on the other side?
Well, I think it's going to open up considerably. I think that it's already happening. We are seeing a lot more connection, a lot more communication. I know that this is something that you work with closely. When I started back in the 80s and 90s, there were only 3 people that I knew of in the country who did spirit communication.
Wow.
It was rare. It was something that was unusual. And now it's almost normal, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere. It's on TV. People are very open to it. So I think that's a very good example of teaching us that there is no death. There is no death. There's just a change in how we communicate.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful for those that are demonstrating on TV or on platforms or in gallery readings. For those of, I don't do public demonstration. You may, I didn't know, but I think it's wonderful because it does enlighten and clarify what the process is and the reality of it and the validity of it and the value of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Take some of that fear out.
But I think that's the important thing, is to eliminate fear, because if you can communicate comfortably with a relative who's in another dimension, then you're only a step away of communicating comfortably with another scientist or another being from another dimension who's not a relative. So you're going to see a lot of interdimensional beings showing up and wanting to communicate. And that's where I know you teach discernment. I teach discernment when it comes to making sure that whoever we're working with, whether they're in a body or not, is of the light.
Sure.
And working in the light, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I am sometimes seeing things that are unusual or amazing to behold, and I'm not talking visions and spectacles from the other side, but I had one guide join my entourage that explained to me that he was a dragon from the Pleiades and he's a protector guide. And I woke up the other day and I saw something, and I still don't really know how to describe it other than it looked sort of like a giant furry raisin with like 100 eyes. And it wasn't malevolent. Mm-hmm. It was just, I was looking at it and it was looking at me. And I wonder if that's part of what you're talking about this thinning and these, interdimensional beings that are connecting with us.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure that all of your viewers have had the experience of catching something out of the corner of their eye, or seeing something move across the room, or especially those of us who have pets. Sometimes I'll look and think I saw my cat walk across the floor, and the cat's not there.
Right. Yeah, something did. Yeah.
Something did. I mean, and for me, they always come when I'm at the kitchen. So I'll be at the kitchen chopping vegetables, and I'll start talking to whoever is standing there. And without moving my head, I'll say to myself, "Oh, I just realized I'm alone in the house."
Right.
But they are visitors that are coming to help us become more comfortable.
Yes.
With the idea that we are not alone, because we're not.
Yeah, in kind of a larger sense, kind of turn of the century was just getting people to understand and experience the fact that people continue on to the other side. And now the array of beings is just wild. And I thought, I'm sure, like you even see in biblical references and other ancient references to contact with other, I don't want to say species, but beings, from other places. But I don't know. What else you got to say about that one?
Well, many years ago, I went to a lecture that my teacher, Connie Newton, gave, and she said something that has stuck with me. And she said, what if all of the spirit guides that we communicate with were just scientists from other dimensions who had learned how to travel to where we are?
Interesting premise.
And, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought about that because to me that eliminates a lot of the fear and the awe and the desire to give away all of my power and worship them.
Oh, yeah, no, they're there. Yeah, they're there for us to instruct. Yeah, and to help us.
Right.
Yes. Pardon?
I said that's right. That's exactly right. And that's kind of what I would like people to take away, is that you don't give up your power. You don't give up your free will.
Ever.
That's right.
Well, speaking of retaining our power, I find myself recently, I've shifted to a low-fat, vegan, whole food, plant-based diet, high-carb diet, and I'm feeling so much physically better. What are some things that would help, that you can think of, that would help people to weather the shift and to acclimate themselves to the new energies that are really so intense for so many?
That's a good question. And I'm glad you talked about your body, because one of the things that we need to remember is that our bodies are constructed to be intuitive vehicles. Our systems are designed for us to be able to connect to higher information and to shift through the change that we're going through. We have a pineal system, we have a pituitary system, we have the hypothalamus system. We have glands in the body that are specifically designed to connect the higher mind to higher information, to the soul, to those higher dimensions. And the way that we can help it is to actually take care of our bodies. So what you're doing is absolutely great. I would say stay away from the heavy sugars.
Yeah.
Stay away from the things that pull your energy down. Now, I will admit I have a sweet tooth, so I like my fruits.
Yes.
I like desserts, but I stay away from the sugary things.
I'm working on it. I bought a Yo-Nana machine where you put in chunks of frozen banana and whatever fruit or flavoring and run it through the grinder, and it comes out like soft serve ice cream, which is my crutch, my substitute for, eating a pint of Haagen-Dazs.
That's it. And these things build the body rather than pull it down.
Sure.
So, eliminating those things that we know are not good for us. And then I hate to say the E word, but I'm going to exercise. Right?
I love it. Yes.
Movement
Yes.
is good. Any kind of movement I think is absolutely phenomenal because it moves the energy through the body. So when I teach my students the perceptive awareness technique, one of the things that we learn in class are body movements that support moving energy, clearing energy, bringing balance into the body. And these things are important. You can't just elevate yourself out of your body and not have to deal with those things. It has to all work together, right?
Yeah. Tell me again the name of the workshop or course that you teach that integrates that concept. You're smooth. It just slipped on by. I was like, what? I was listening to the concept and I didn't hear the name. So,
well, the class is perceptive awareness technique.
Oh, the PAT. Yeah.
Yeah, when we teach the PAC class, they're called astral geometries. They are designed to move energy through the body, to bring balance into the body. And we teach them in class because it's not just about connecting the intuition. It's about supporting that whole process so that a person is successful when they leave class.
Very interesting. Is it like Tai Chi or Qigong or something like that? Or is it a different, more like the symbols and things that are used in gestures in Reiki? What is it more like, maybe?
They're more like Tai Chi or Qigong. They're similar, but they have a different purpose.
Yes. Interesting. What else can you do trying to shift your vibration and come in harmony with this new world that we're headed toward?
Well, again, it's going to sound hokey, but I want to say love, love, love. We have got to love ourselves. We have got to bring love into the environment, and we have got to be real about it. So we know that. I mean, think about the first time you fell in love. What the world looked different. The colors were different in the environment. We forget that. We move into life and we become jaded. We become complacent. They say familiarity breeds contempt, and I think that's very true because we forget to be in awe of all of the beauty around us.
Yeah.
So love and gratitude, right?
That I was just saying that's a really, really critical point because a lot of people are like, when is love going to come to me? I've been waiting for years. Nobody loves me. And they're blind to the beauty of nature or to the affection of animals or to the just the vibration of love that is embedded in every molecule of everything everywhere. And also the fact that they're love and that just being, not giving from a place of exhaustion, but, giving, allowing it to flow freely and defining themselves by that movement of love through them, makes a difference, I think.
Oh, yeah, it makes a difference in everything. And we don't turn it on ourselves enough. I mean, if you are even a little bit aware of the outer world, everything in the outer world is designed to criticize you. You need to put on makeup to look better. You need to do your hair a certain way. You need to dress a certain way. There's something to new and improve every single thing about you.
Yes.
But we don't love ourselves. I mean, if you look at the thing about yourself that is out of balance or that you don't like, or the thing that you tell yourself all the time you're unhappy about, if you did that to a plant, it would wither and die in a matter of weeks. Mm-hmm. And yet we do it to ourselves all the time. So, yes, love and appreciate the world around you, but you got to love and appreciate yourself. And it can't just be words.
Yeah.
You've got to love that kidney, love those toes, love that crooked smile, love that stomach that's giving you the indigestion. And that's where we see balance and change come in.
And also loving it with action, loving it by feeding ourselves the food that we need and moving the body and, thinking the thoughts, like an active self-love where it's not just like, oh, I love my giant belly, which might feel like a lie when we say it, but saying, mm-hmm. I love me, the totality of me, and I'm going to treat myself well. I don't mean in an indulgent sense, although sometimes that's a good thing too, but I mean in, the long-term care of the body,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. One of the exercises that I will give my students at times is to do everything for a week from a place of love, not fear. So if you get up in the morning and the only reason you're brushing your teeth is because you're afraid that if you don't, they will rot and fall out, don't do it. But brush your teeth because you love yourself so much that you couldn't do anything else.
Yes.
And it shifts, right? You shift from fear to love.
Yes, yes, yes. And a lot of people that are empathic and sensitive are pouring their energies of love to other people, sometimes way crossing the 50-50 point there, where you would expect something back for that effort. Not like it's a merchandise society of love, but, that balance of exchange. And I think their energy is so outward that they forget that they have to allow that love back. And I love the idea of sort of turning it on yourself, like turning the love back on yourself. I think that's a really beautiful concept.
Well, you asked me earlier, how are we going to get through this shift? And the answer is, if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not. So if we're pouring love out to everyone and not using any for ourselves or reserving any for ourselves, when that wave of energy comes, and they come all the time now, when those waves of energy come in and buffet the earth and hit your body, there's no reserve there.
Right. Right. And I'm thinking of it on a relationship level, as well as that higher level, which I want to get back to, but it just hit me, if we're not taking care of ourselves and preparing ourselves to receive love, not just from ourselves, that's like the practice, that's the training wheels, then it would be hard to identify love or to, I think of people that are like not taking care of themselves physically, or emotionally or mentally, and sometimes not even spiritually. And yet, they want to know, is their soulmate there right now, tomorrow? When are they here? They should have been here yesterday. Why aren't they coming here? And I think doesn't it go back to that concept that you were talking about earlier of that vibrational difference that's going on. So they're not. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yes. The law of attraction is always at work. And so if you do not love yourself, you will attract in a mate that does not love themselves. And so you will each be trying to fill a hole by pulling it out of the other person. That's what we call codependence. That's not what we call love.
Yeah, symbiotic, but not necessarily harmonic forever relationship. Yeah, and so expanding from the relationship level, so we have our self-care, and then we allow love to come to us and separate, discern, as you used the term earlier, love from things that are not healthy for us, both in our food and our relationships, and that take that out that next level and explain how that self-care expands into the shifting that's going on.
So self-care, and good question, by the way. Self-care and loving the self sets up an energy of love in your environment, in your auric field, right? Mm-hmm. And because the law of attraction is always at work, you're going to bring and draw love energy beings who also have love energy towards you.
Oh, I like that. So, love energy beings. Yes, that's where the thread was. Yes.
Right? So that applies to situations. It applies to off-world beings. If you are a person who is afraid and negative, you're going to attract off-world beings or non-physical beings who are negative, right? And want to create fear.
Yeah, they're trying to find their people.
That's it.
Maybe take a body while they're at it. Yes.
Exactly.
Why not?
The way that you can get everything that you want in your life is to generate it. And so one of the things that I keep hearing from all of the teachers that I listen to is that the time has come for us to stop looking outside and to really start turning in. and to generate it from the inside, and then everything comes to us. It's not a new concept.
No, but it's a new application.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And we have to take it to the next level. So a lot of the things that you hear people talking about are really not new, but I think in the last 30, 40 years, we gave them a lot of lip service and didn't really commit, you know.
Well,
so,
what is it? Pressure and chaos is the mother of creativity. Desperation is the mother of creativity. And so if you don't really feel the particular need to do it, we always take that path of least resistance. But now it seems like things are more intensive. What about kids? There are a lot of gifted children that are being born. Nothing more bracing than sitting in front of a child that has better sight and hearing than I do, and assumes that it's completely normal, Well, it is normal, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I had a little guy come into my office and he was 5, and I was asking about his colors, and his mom said he can see colors. So I said, well, what color are you? And he said, green. And I said, what other colors? He goes, just green. And then I said, well, what about your mom? And he said, pink, of course, like I was an idiot, And I said, well, what color am I? And he goes, all these, and he picks up the crayons, But what about them in this? I know I just had a woman in my office this week that was so concerned about her 24-year-old son because he is so sensitive and he doesn't appear on the surface to be weathering things. What can be done for children?
Well, for young children, these are the ones that we are holding the space until they can come in and take over the world, because we need them to be in the same place that they are now. So our job is to protect them, and our job is to nurture them, and our job is to keep them from shutting down in a way that was done to many of us.
Oh, yes.
You've heard the stories of, that's not real, and don't talk about the things you see.
You've got a great imagination.
Exactly, right?
Right.
Exactly. So the thing that we need to do is believe them. And we need to not be afraid that what they're telling us challenges what we know or what we're comfortable with. We need to, because they'll pick up on that fear and they'll be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
We need to help them with discernment. It's okay for you to sit and talk about colors with me. You might not want to sit and talk about colors when you're in school. So we need to help them with discernment. And parents, I just want to say, if you are a parent of a gifted child, please do not run around trying to get that child on TV or get famous.
Oh, God,
because
it's like what are those helicopter moms, the beauty pageant babies? Oh, my God, I feel like that when I see that. They're too early, yes? Too much pressure.
It is too early, and it's not safe because you don't know who wants to manipulate them or who wants to use them for their own gain. It's not, I don't think it's the right motive myself.
No, that's a very good point. Yes.
So it's wonderful to be the parent of a special child, but you have to resist the urge to tell everybody in the world that you have one.
Well, or to show them off like a trophy. Yeah. Rather than remember that they are a sensitive.
Yes. Now, one of the things that I will say is share their dreams. have them talk to you about their dreams, because that's a way for them to communicate what they know and what they see, and those kinds of things. Have them journal. I want to talk about teaching them the Light Affirmation, because it's a wonderful thing to give children. And it's a wonderful way for them to eliminate their fears.
Oh, yes. How much more amazing would that be when, I'm thinking of a childhood energetic trauma that I suffered, where I just knew like there was something dark under my bed, and it wasn't the shadow under my bed, nor the fact that I hadn't cleaned my room. And how much better would it have been in saying, instead of brushing it aside and saying, oh, that's just silly, Tracy, these things aren't real, to have said, if you're feeling uncomfortable, this is something you can do. I think protection and is very important to teach. Yes. Yeah. And even in a lot of development, like, I don't know, when you were, because you've been practicing for much longer than I have, but, they didn't really teach it, actually, to me. And that was just a few years ago. And now I can't even imagine not integrating that into a course.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you completely. I wanted to say that, that little thing under your bed, that was your little Archon. Mm-hmm. Because think of how sweet the meal is to make a child afraid.
Right. Well, plus the fact that I was pretty sure I was adopted, because I didn't think I looked like either of my parents. And I was pretty sure I was a princess that had been given to them to grow up with the peasants so that I could be humbled.
I don't doubt that for a moment.
Apparently I needed that. But anyway. So what do you have a technique that you would help people that are coping with this overwhelming fear of, do I need to store food and water, and what happens if somebody kicks my door down with an AK-47? How do you eliminate fear in terms of the personal and world events? Do you have a technique that you would share with us?
I do. I have a couple that I want to share with you. The one that I want to make sure we talk about is called the Light Affirmation. This was given to my teacher in 1986. And she used it to prepare to bring a group of light workers into the pyramid. And it was used to eliminate fear in those who were going to be doing the work. Those who had asthma, claustrophobia. She was managed to get 140 people into the King's Chamber to work on this. And
experience.
It was phenomenal. But the Light Affirmation eliminates fear, sets up protection, moves energy through the body, and it is absolutely phenomenal. It's been translated, I believe, into every spoken language so far. I've given it to my grandchildren, my granddaughter, when she was having a rough time. I would say to her all the time, "What do you say, honey?" And she would say, "I know, Grandma, I am the light." And it is wonderful for children. It has eliminated nightmares in the children that I've given it to. And it has actually saved the lives of people who have used it. They have had bullets shot point blank at them that ended up grazing the forehead. The temple. Those saved from car accidents. It's just phenomenal. So I will say it, and then if you want to, you can say it with me and see how wonderful it feels.
I would love that. Absolutely.
So the Light Affirmation: I am the light. The light is within me. The light moves throughout me. The light surrounds me. The light protects me. I am the light.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that is beautiful. Let's do it.
Isn't it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it together. Okay. You can say it after me.
Yes.
I am the light.
I am the light.
The light is within me.
The light is within me.
The light moves throughout me.
The light moves throughout me.
The light surrounds me.
The light surrounds me.
The light protects me.
The light protects me.
I am the light.
I am the light. Oh, Susan, I just love that. That's so beautiful.
Isn't
That's a great affirmation and a reminder of who we are as light beings in this world. That we are more than our body. We are more than our mind. We are beyond the physical. That is just beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And remember, when you say, I am the light, you're making a statement. And every light being in the universe is drawn to you because light attracts light.
Yes, yes, yes. You talked too about, we've got maybe 4 minutes left in the show. It could be as many as 7, depends on when they pull the plug on us. But you had also given me in your notes an affirmation of need, and that might be helpful in surfing the changes that are going on.
Yes. So we want to remember that when you're in the light and you're in service, you are always going to be taken care of. And so the need affirmation, which was also given to me by my teacher, Connie Newton, is, no matter the change, I will always have what I need. No matter the change, I will have what I need to share. No matter the change, I will always have what I need to progress. And so it is.
Oh, that works not just in terms of shifting vibrations and passing clouds of rumor and gossip and fear about the future of our earth, but also just on an abundance and, personal manifestation level. That's lovely. Would you be willing to send me the words for that, and I'll give credit where credit is due and put it underneath when we post your video so that people can read it as well?
Absolutely. I keep it up at my desk at work because when I think about how am I going to pay the bills, or what's going to happen to Social Security, or those kinds of things, I just look at that and I say, you know what? No matter the changes, I'll always have what I need. Yes.
Yes, that's just an incredible reminder on so many levels. Wow. So what would I'm going to get you to tie up with a closing thought here. What would you like to leave our listeners with, Susan?
Oh, my goodness. Love yourself. Love everyone. Connect with your own intuition. I always tell everyone should have their own healing method, because there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to get to the doctor. Mm-hmm. Look at all the people in Florida. Look at the people in Texas. Look at the people in Puerto Rico. Have a healing modality. Connect with your intuition. Develop the intuition so that do I stay? Do I leave when the hurricane is coming? These are things that people are going to want to know, especially with the weather that's coming up. Do I go to work today when they're calling for a storm, or do I stay home? Connect with your intuition. Connect with your soul. Contact me.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I can say is contact me. I'm teaching the intuition class online now, so people don't have to fly. They don't have to travel.
That's the perceptive awareness technique?
Yes, it is. It's important that people have these tools. We need to have these tools now. We need to be kind to ourselves, to others. We need to focus on the light and remember that it is going to come out okay, that this is just the death throes, and we don't want to be standing there and get hit while everything else is flailing around. We need that intuition to step out of the way. We need the healing to help ourselves and others. We need to remember that we're not alone. There is a whole universe that will support you through the law of attraction. You just have to do it yourself and not look for someone else.
Yeah.
I think that hit it all.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Who knew that something that was considered woo-woo and bizarre would actually be like a practical survival skill? Who knew?
It's a good way to put it, but it's true.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know soldiers for centuries have developed that ability on the field because you have to. And anyway, thank you, Susan. I'm going to thank you. Your website is susanzummo.com. Mine is mediumtracylockwood.com. And I'd like our guests to remember that it is never inappropriate to be kind, and without integrity, you have nothing. See you next week.